Guitarists love to play the blues, but sometimes we can get stuck in a rut with the note choices and the vocabulary we're using. I'm Charlie Long, and I want to help you make sense of soloing. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. Today we're going to look at a slick trick that will allow you to borrow notes from a scale you might not normally associate with the blues, which is the half-whole diminished scale, in a way that will feel totally familiar to your hands if you're used to using the pentatonic scale. Let's get into it. Typically, when guitarists start learning to solo over blues progressions, they learn the minor pentatonic scale and lots of licks using that scale. And you know, there is so much rich tradition, so many incredible recordings by the great blues masters that primarily use minor pentatonic. If you didn't learn that, if you didn't know a lot of that vocabulary and a lot of those licks, you really wouldn't be able to sound authentically bluesy. And it sounds great. Of course, you also need to have killer phrasing, killer timing, great in-tune bends, and a cool signature vibrato to really pull it off. Those are all topics for upcoming videos. Like I said, the minor pentatonic is awesome. But you might find yourself listening to modern blues standouts like Matt Schofield or Josh Smith, and of course the godfather of the style of bringing some jazzier vocabulary to the blues, Robben Ford, who is still out there sounding great. And you may be wondering how they're coming up with some of the notes that they play. If that's you, I think you'll get some good ideas out of this video. For our example today, we'll be playing over a 12-bar blues in E. Now, we're going to find out in later videos that we're really only in E part of the time, but for our purposes today, we're in E. Our 1 chord is E7. Our 4 chord is A7. Our 5 chord would be B7. We're going to concentrate on a strategy to play over the 4 chord in bars 5 and 6, and the 1 chord in bars 7 and 8 of our 12-bar pattern. If you're taking the time to listen to a lot of blues music, you may have noticed that in the 5th bar of the progression, the band is playing the 4 chord. In the 6th bar, they play a diminished 7 chord up half a step. Now, that lends a very cool harmonic motion called voice leading to the progression, and it sounds like this. You've probably heard something like this a million times. Even if the band doesn't go there, you can imply them going there and use some diminished sounds in your solos at that point. In our example at the beginning of the video today, I used an A-sharp diminished arpeggio and played through 2 inversions of it using a 16th note pattern. I'll show you more on that later. And that gets us back to our 1 chord. Now, I found myself liking that different tonality, that diminished tonality. And I also found myself liking that 16th note pattern. It's kind of a rolling sound, something you might hear from Joe Bonamassa or Eric Gales. So I decided to make up a lick using the E half-whole diminished scale over the E7 chord, our 1 chord, but to play it in a way that's similar to the 2-note per string pentatonic patterns we know and love so well. Let's take a closer look at these ideas. I've mentioned the minor pentatonic scale a few times already. Let's take a quick look at it, even though you probably already know it. Here's the first pattern of E minor pentatonic played at the 12th position. The intervals are root, minor 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the flat 7. The first harmonic variation we might encounter when learning to solo over blues is the major pentatonic scale, which we can convert from minor, if you will, by moving patterns of the minor pentatonic down 3 frets. So if we take that first pattern of E minor that we played at the 12th position, move it to the 9th fret, or 9th position, we're going to get the 5th position of E major pentatonic. It's a completely different tonality, sounds like something you might hear in country music or southern rock. It's a sweeter sound. We get the intervals, the root the second, the major third, the fifth, and the sixth. Check it out. Now we're going to take a look at the E half-whole diminished scale, which happens to sit right on top of the fifth pattern of E major pentatonic. Actually, the scale repeats every 3 frets. You can move it up and down in what we call minor thirds, or 3 frets at a time. The intervals of this scale are the root, the flat second, the sharp second, or the minor third. It's important, minor third to hear in the blues, the major third, the flat 5, the fifth, the sixth, and the flat seventh. Now we come to the trick part of the video. There's a reason that we're playing the E half-whole diminished scale at the 9th fret. And here's where our lick comes from. By dropping out a few choice intervals, we create a 5-note pattern that includes the notes of both the E dominant 7 arpeggio and the E minor 7th arpeggio. Difference being the major and minor third, or G sharp, G natural. That major minor third push-pull is the essence of the blues sound. What we've done is we've created a new pentatonic pattern that has them both in it. It's also a characteristic of the diminished scale that there are multiple major minor triads, dominant 7 and minor 7th arpeggios embedded in it. Now, the focus of this video is not a deep dive into diminished, but I wanted to make note of that. So here's the whole lick played slowly. Over the first bar of A7, I played a standard bluesy figure, followed in the second bar by the A sharp diminished 7th arpeggio, and then we play our trick lick that we mined out of the E half-whole diminished. Here's a few other licks that I came up with using our new synthetic pentatonic pattern. Check it out. I really hope you got something you can use out of this video. I'm going to be making many more videos on strategies to make your guitar solos sound better. Please like, subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much.